Friendship, fame, and feuds. What happens when the line between personal life and business blurs? That's exactly what unfolded with Tana Mongeau and Brooke Schofield as their cancelled podcast came to a dramatic close. What started as a raw, unfiltered space for wild stories and hot takes turned into a battlefield of creative clashes, regrets, and internet-fueled controversies. Their final 3-hour episode wasn't just a farewell. It was an emotional confession, exposing secrets fans had only speculated about for years. Tonight, we break down the shocking truths Tana and Brooke revealed, the drama they couldn't hide, and what comes next. When the news first broke that the cancelled podcast was ending, fans were left stunned. The show had built a loyal audience by mixing humor with chaos, blending celebrity gossip, personal confessions, and Tana and Brooke's unique chemistry. But behind the laughs, cracks were already showing. In their final marathon episode, they peeled back the curtain, explaining why walking away was the only way to save their friendship.
We're calling each other and we're having these like 5-hour calls and you're touring houses and we're going together and we're skipping around and we're like, I don't know how to explain that, just all of the strife and everything. Like it's like it almost like didn't happen. And it like we were right. We knew that like having this baby together and trying to agree was like what was hard and putting a strain. And now it's like I just finally like see without the cloud. Brooke and I were on the phone today, as we do now.
Yeah, you guys, I don't think you understand. Like when we say, I think we've spoken more in the past like 2 weeks than we have like in the last 2 years.
Because it doesn't feel like we have to call each other and like work out 90 million business things. We get to just be ourselves again. And I don't know, it's just like, it's very nice.
Both women admitted the podcast had begun to change the way they saw each other. What started as fun began to feel like a burden, a business relationship that stripped away their ability to simply be friends. They fought on tour, clashed over creative decisions, and sometimes barely spoke outside of work. Tana even admitted that at certain points she felt the podcast was destroying their bond, saying she hated the way it made her view Brooke. Yet, in the final episode, both confessed that once the end was in sight, relief washed over them.
Genuinely eating me alive. About like this just has to end because I hate what it's doing to us. I hate what's happening on the internet. I don't resonate with certain things anymore and whatever. And I was so convinced that on this day and in the end, I would show up and fucking pop a bottle and a firecracker and fireworks. And I'd be like, finally, and like, what, you know what I mean? Like that's, there were points where I was 100% sure that was what my energy was going to be today. And then today has come and I could not feel more different than that. Like, yeah, I wish I could go tell that girl like that you're not going to feel like that at all. Like these past few weeks have been so interesting too, because it's like we're not working on anything for canceled. You know, we had a few episodes coming out and stuff, but we finished the tour. And it's almost really interesting to me too, how immediately you and I have reverted back to how we once were. Like
it's almost, it didn't even have to truly end for us to like feel the relief of it.
Without the pressure of producing content together, they rediscovered what it meant to be just friends again, talking on the phone for hours, laughing like they used to, even house hunting together. This bittersweet realization set the tone for the finale. Instead of a fiery goodbye, it felt like two friends finally exhaling after years of tension. Tana said she once imagined the final day would feel like fireworks, a celebration of being free from the podcast. But instead, she felt sadness, gratitude, and nostalgia. Brooke agreed, describing it as leaving the casino while you're still up.
And it's like, even like, I just look back at our old vlogs where you'd come over and we'd like cook something or like whatever. And like, I'm so excited for you to have a show and me to have a show eventually. And like, that's so cool too. Like I'm going on Brooke's podcast today. And then like, I'm going to then the vision, for whatever it is your fucking vision. And I'm obliging and same otherwise. You know what I mean?
This is my show, bitch.
Yes, exactly. But like dead, no. And then like, you'll come on mine and it's the same thing. And there's no having to get to like a common ground, you know what I mean? On like anything. It's about celebrating each other's differences, and that's what made us friends in the first place.
They chose to bow out before things turned truly toxic. The finale wasn't just about their friendship, it was also about regrets. Tana opened up about how difficult she was to work with in the beginning. She admitted she was drunk, messy, and at times a horrible business partner.
Full bit about it, and like just thinking about in the beginning of canceled, like how the way I was just not and I was drunk and I was just like a mess and a horrible business partner. And like, I don't think that we've talked about this, but like I didn't respond to the way that you would kind of come at me for that. So then I would come at you back. But looking back on it now, it's like, doesn't matter how the wanted to express to you that what you were doing was wrong. It was wrong. And like, she was trying to help make you better. And
I
she
could
was
have eased up on the tone a bit.
No, but like still, like I was an insufferable business partner in the very beginning. And then I think post your tweets resurfacing, you and I had like a lot of, that was kind of like during that time, that was where we really like were just going at it the most, you know what I mean? And not seeing eye to eye. And for some reason, I just had this like dawn on me. Like after you said it, it was like, yeah, Tana, the way that you felt like Brooke was being to you during that time is 1000% your karma for how you were to her in the beginning. Like you were such a bad business partner, Tana. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it all like karmatically now, like just everything, every argument and every like era where like one of us was maybe a little off, like it all comes together and it's like a pretty even playing field.
Looking back, she said Brooke's criticisms during that time were justified, even if she didn't see it then. Brooke, for her part, admitted she could have eased up on her tone, but stood by her efforts to hold Tana accountable. Both agreed that their early fights set the stage for years of tension.
In the peak of times that, and this was way later down the line, you know what I mean? But when we were like, I think this was post tweets and like just really like, we were really fighting. And there was conversations of you and I, of continuing canceled, but you and I having a mediator to speak in between us. Like if I had something to say, I would tell the mediator and then the mediator would tell you. And if you had something to say, you would tell the mediator and they would tell me.
What are you talking about? I've never heard that before in my life. Was that your idea?
No, like it was, but it just like, it was
Wait,
the only
like
thing
for the episodes or for
just for everything,
life?
because every time we would have a conversation about business, it would be a blowout.
Oh
or like,
yeah, big summer blowout. Yeah, I get that. Like in just conversations in life, I thought you meant like on the episodes. I'm like, that wouldn't have been anything.
No, imagine they're just in the room. No, like if we had to plan a shoot or anything like.
No, and that time period too was very obvious, I think, to the public also. I think like that was one of the times where I'm like, everyone was pretty much right about like what was going on.
Things came to a head when Brooke's old tweets resurfaced, sparking internet speculation and igniting real-life conflict. They revealed that their relationship got so strained they even discussed hiring a mediator just to communicate about business decisions. At one point, they could barely speak directly to each other without it turning into a fight. The two also revisited specific moments that fueled fan drama.
Guys have maybe is irreparable a word?
Irreparable.
But isn't irreparable, does that mean something else?
Mm-mm. Like we've done irreparable damage.
Okay, you're right. You and Ashley may have an irreparable dynamic. You know, like you guys may never be friends.
I think she put it better than that. I think it's like, it's not like irreparable because it's like not something that was like broken that needed to be repaired. We just like literally were never close. It's up in the air why she blocked me, but that doesn't matter. Also, I want to go on record and say that photo that she used of me in the Guess Who game is hilarious and I loved it. If full transparency, if the roles were reversed, she would have had a bigger head than that.
I love that everyone can kind of just laugh at that and it wasn't that big of a deal.
Tana admitted regret over the infamous Turks and Caicos episode, where she spoke negatively about Ashley, someone Brooke had long had a rocky relationship with. Brooke clarified that she and Ashley were never close and probably never would be, but said she could laugh at some of the antics now, like Ashley giving Tana a Guess Who game with an unflattering picture on it.
One event, and like even if you tell a story sometimes in like the most lighthearted way, you don't understand that people are gonna, you know, interpret it however they're gonna interpret it and like, you know, run pretty far with it. I've just experienced it with Boatgate.
Yeah.
And like I shouldn't have told that story because like as funny and lighthearted as I thought it was, it didn't turn out to be that way.
Yeah.
And you know,
yeah,
I regret that. Like there's been a lot of things like that where I'm like, did you really, like, was it really worth this?
In the future, solo shows where they could express their creativity freely without compromise. They even said they'd happily guest on each other's platforms, supporting one another from afar. The final takeaway was clear: the cancelled podcast wasn't ending because they hated each other. It was ending because they loved each other enough to stop before resentment ruined everything. By closing this chapter, they gave themselves the space to rebuild their friendship on healthier terms. For fans, the finale was bittersweet. They got answers to years of speculation, raw admissions about the fights and regrets, and a glimpse of the genuine bond that still ties Tana and Brooke together. But it also marked the end of an era, one of the internet's wildest, most chaotic, and strangely heartfelt podcasts. The cancelled podcast may be over, but its legacy lives on as one of the most unfiltered, dramatic, and memorable shows of the influencer era. Tana Mongeau and Brooke Schofield didn't just expose scandals, they exposed themselves, flaws and all. Their final goodbye wasn't a scandalous blow-up, but a reminder that sometimes walking away is the bravest choice you can make. So what do you think? Did they end the podcast at the right time, or do you wish they pushed through the chaos? Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives.